census, the Arabs that America claimed that they don't like are white people for the census. Look at that. Look at that. Bin Laden, Saddam Hussein. But they still classify them as white people. If you're from North Africa, you can be classified as white, even if your skin be black. Gaddafi would have been considered a white man for U.S. Census. Black, not Hispanic. This is interesting right here, because the census says black, not Hispanic. If Hispanics are not black, why do you have to qualify it? If Hispanics are not black, why do you have to qualify it? Because they are black people too. And then you got Hispanic, not black. Why are you qualifying blackness? Because all you're doing is creating an imaginary line. American Indian and Alaskan go together, and I would argue that that's a black group too. Asians, depending on where they come from, Southeast Asians are totally African people just about. That's another black group. Look at all the black groups that's hiding on that list. Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, have you ever seen them? They afros bigger than Don King's. Talking about they not black. Look at this, y'all. And then you got the newest group, the Tiger Woods category. Biracial and multiracial. What the hell is that? So if you look at all the lists, first of all, you got Middle East, North Africans hiding as white, who are black. Then you got Hispanics, not black, who are black. Then you got American Indians and Native Alaskans who are black. Then you got Asians who are black. Then you got Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders who are black. Then you got biracial and multiracial who are black. You the whole damn census. But because they cut it up and played word games, you think we different groups. White welfare. Stop letting people tell you that white people who are successful in America became successful by working hard. That is not true for the most. The government gave out welfare. The biggest welfare program in American history was the GI Bill of the U.S. Armed Forces. In 1944, the government created the GI Bill giving what? Preferential jobs, preferential housing, preferential schooling, education to more than 15 million white men who served in World War II. Gotcha. So a lot of the folk living in the suburb with the nice houses, we not knocking them. They deserve that after putting their life on the line. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm saying when they turn around and say the reason why my family is doing well and yours ain't is because we work hard, that's a damn lie. You was giving government handouts. You was giving government handouts. Trying to become white. The 1980 census created Hispanic and non-Hispanic to help Spanish-speaking blacks from Central and South America and the Caribbean who didn't want to be black escape blackness. You can be white and Hispanic, but you don't have to be black anymore. In the 1940s, the Federal Housing Association helped support white flight from the ghetto. You know what they did in 1940? Some of y'all was around back then. Federal Housing Association, what did they do? Poor white people was given loans and grants to move out into the suburbs. Poor black people wanted the loans and grants too, but they said we can't find no approval for y'all. Y'all got to stay in the hood. So then the black people stayed in the hood, said I want to buy the house in the hood. And then what did they say? We can't find a bank that will approve a mortgage in one of those impoverished districts. You know why they did that? That was 1940. So in the year 2000, when white folks decided they was going to come back into the inner cities of New York and Philly and Chicago and Detroit, they would have no resistance from you because they never let you buy anything in the first damn place. In conclusion, because time is running out and we ain't got time to go through military science, I wanted to hit y'all with that. Let me give y'all one slide from the military science. There's more of that white supremacy piece. Better yet, go to the ancestors. Who we got? Ancestors, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana came to college at Lincoln University outside Philadelphia, a student of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. In fact, Ghana has a black star on its flag to symbolize Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line. I respect Kwame Nkrumah because even after Ghana gained its independence in 1957, he still allowed other African rebellion groups and freedom fighter groups to come into Ghana and live there and train there, which earned him the ill repute of a lot of the European powers of the world. But Kwame Nkrumah said, Ghana ain't free until all Africa free. So he let the Congolese come. He let the Senegalese come. Any African freedom fighters could go to Ghana and be protected by the Nkrumah government as they fought white supremacy. Have a safe place of retreat. Booker T. Washington, act as an agent and deflect suspicion. Booker T. Washington graduated from Hampton in Virginia. The principal at Hampton, who was a white man, got a phone call for somebody to go to Tuskegee, Alabama to teach black people how to earn a living. Booker T. Washington accepted the job. He got down to Tuskegee, Alabama. In Tuskegee, they did not have any buildings, so the first class of students at Tuskegee had to roll up their sleeves and they built the buildings of Tuskegee. They made their own dorms, bathroom, kitchen, lecture halls. They even made their own bricks. They became so famous for making bricks that the white builders in Alabama would come to Tuskegee and buy the bricks from the students. Gotcha. And then, once he was done doing that, he said, I need a science teacher. I need a science teacher. So he went to Iowa, where there was a black man, Dr. George Washington Carver, first black to get a doctorate in agricultural science from Iowa, and he said, I need you to come to Tuskegee. Carver didn't have to go, because the white scientists were begging Carver to come and work for them to make shampoo and perms and that kind of stuff, and they was going to pay him a lot of money. He turned it down to go to Tuskegee. When he got to Tuskegee, he asked Booker T, where is my office? Where's my science lab? Booker T said, I don't have one. So you know what Carver did? He went to the trash dump of Tuskegee. And out of the trash, he took old wood, old plastic, old metal, old scraps from the student garbage. And from that, gave you more than 200 products from the sweet potato. From that, more than 300 products from the soybean. This is what he did. With nothing, our people have been able to make everything. We have everything and have been able to make nothing. In conclusion, I'll leave you with a quote from my ancestor, Frederick Douglass, who said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want ocean but can't stand the awful roar of its waters. He said the struggle we have might be moral, or it might be physical, or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. He said, for 20 years I prayed on my knees to God to give me freedom, but God never gave me freedom until I got up off my knees and prayed with my feet. He said, the man who pities you cannot respect you, and the man who respects you needs not pity you. He said, most importantly, you must understand that power concedes nothing without it. A man never did and it never will. If you're not doing anything, on Friday, July the 5th, I will be reading Frederick Douglass's 4th of July speech in Rochester, New York, where he gave it 161 years ago at the Frederick Douglass Resource Center. I share. Sure? You sure? Yes. All right. We got, well, you know what? Let me make it 20 then.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. But they're going to charge us extra.
We already did. They already are. Go ahead.
Damn.
Just go ahead.
Y'all want to keep rocking?
Yeah.
I'm feeling funny up here now. The Frederick Douglass strategy, lead by holding because of my content.
Go ahead.
Frederick Douglass, lead by example, the Frederick Douglass strategy. A lot of people, when Frederick Douglass said that black people had to fight for their freedom, they said, well, is he going to fight? They said because American dignitaries' children are spared from participating in wars. So Frederick Douglass said, if I want black people to fight, I'm going to have to sacrifice my own children. So he got two of his sons, Lewis and Charles. And Lewis and Charles fought with the Massachusetts 54th Colored Regiment. If you've ever seen the movie Glory, Morgan Freeman stars as the elder son of Frederick Douglass. Okay, and so he gave both his sons to the bloodiest regiment in the Civil War. Now, thank God they survived it. But Frederick Douglass believed in leading by example. And even as an old man, he still continued to criticize the American government for not making black people equal citizens until the day that he died. In fact, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Stephen Henry Bailey, Frederick's brother and cousin, okay, brothers because the slave master was their dad, and cousins because the mothers were sisters, fought in the 7th Regiment U.S. Colored Troops of Maryland, which was also one of the most dangerous regiments in the Civil War. Both of them lived. my grandfather Stephen, and his firstborn son George. If they did not survive the Civil War, I would not be here today. Harriet Tubman's strategy, maintain invisibility. This right here is my greatest hero of all time. This black woman with almost no help helped free more than 300 blacks from slavery. After slavery, she participated as a nurse and a spy and a scout in the Civil War. Okay, she led troops into battle once during the Civil War. This is Harriet Tubman now. Some people say she was a descendant of the Dogon peoples of Mali because she was able to talk directly to God. They asked Harriet Tubman, did you almost ever get caught? And Harriet Tubman said there were certain times when I almost got caught, but she said whenever I got into a situation like that, I would get on my hands and knees and pray to God. And whenever I did that, the Lord would find a way for me out of my situation. She said she never had no fear. She said even if I would have been taken and killed, I would have accepted that as a message from our Lord that my work was done and it was time for me to retire. After that, she built the old folks home for elderly black people in Troy, New York. If you ever in New York try to get up to Troy, visit her gravesite. There's a beautiful Harriet Tubman museum. I've been there. Okay, you want to see that? You get to go into her house where she lived until she died. They still have her original bed, her original stove, her original clothing. I mean, she was a little lady. A little lady with such a big heart. And then after you visit her grave, you go over to Rochester, you can visit the Frederick Douglass Resource Center. Frederick and Harriet are only buried about 45 minutes apart from each other. So you can do both in the same day. But this woman was an example of selflessness and of courage. I don't know if we produced a finer woman than this right there. She even divorced her first husband, ladies, because he was a coward. She said, I cannot marry you. You are wimpy and weakly. Well. And she went out and got herself another black man. Okay? Then you got Toussaint L'Ouverture of Haiti. I'll be going to Haiti for the first time to celebrate the beginning of the Haitian Revolution, which started on my birthday, August the 21st, 1791, culminating in 1804. This was one of the leaders of the Haitian Revolution, Toussaint L'Ouverture. He was like what was the guy? Colin Powell of the Haitian military, but unlike Colin Powell, he used it to help his people. So he linked up with some other brothers and sisters. Bookman Dada, Henry Christophe, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who became the first emperor of Haiti. Toussaint L'Ouverture used all he learned to benefit the Haitian Revolution. And so Haiti became the first independent black nation on this side of the earth because of what him and others did. Right. Now, for those of y'all who come from Philadelphia like I do, y'all know we have a school on Girard Avenue called Girard College. But a lot of people don't know that Stephen Girard actually built Girard College with Toussaint L'Ouverture's money. Toussaint entrusted Stephen Girard with... Okay, white supremacy attack, what's going on?
Go ahead,
okay, all right. Toussaint entrusted Stephen Girard with his money. After the Haitian Revolution, he was going to meet up with Stephen, get his money back. But Toussaint L'Ouverture trusted the white man. He set up a meeting with Napoleon at the water. Christophe and Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Bookman told him don't go. But Toussaint believed that he could make a deal with the devil. So he went down to the water, they arrested him, took him back to France in handcuffs. He died of hunger and disease in a jail. So that's what you get for trusting people. Okay? And then Jean-Jacques Dessalines became the first emperor of Haiti. But the Haitian Revolution is significant for us, not just because it culminated in the first independent free black nation, but it was African religion that liberated Haiti. Not Islam, not Jehovah's Witnessism, not Christianity, not Moorism, not Hebrewism, none of that. They used voodoo. And for those of you who don't know what voodoo is, all voodoo means is the worship of the saints or the aspects of God. Now let me break